As we were rolling through the Wednesday edition of the program, we're joined now by the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. And you're a fellow Vanderbilt Law grad. So I want to dive right into this with you, Governor. Front page Wall Street Journal today, there is a story that Joe Biden had classified documents, that he was waving them around for his ghostwriter. Direct quote, I just found all the classified stuff downstairs. Biden on tape saying. At the time, he was vice president. Well, you saw what just happened to Donald Trump with Alvin Bragg. You know that Trump is standing trial, theoretically, in South Florida for his own classified documents case. When are Republicans going to start throwing punches back here? You're a lawyer like I am. I understand the importance of standing on principle. But what they're doing is unprecedented lawfare, and it often feels like Republicans are not throwing punches back. Do you feel that way? What should happen?
Well, we feel a bit different in Texas because, listen, we have ongoing litigation where we are on the offense against Joe Biden and the Biden administration perpetually. And so we're throwing a ton of punches ourselves. And we need AGs and states and other jurisdictions across the country using this not for lawfare purposes, but to ensure that there's equal justice in the United States of America. You know, one of the things that's dividing our country so much is our fellow Americans are seeing a difference in the way that law is applied to Republicans versus the way that law is applied to Democrats. And we need to do our part to make sure that we will fully enforce the law of the United States of America against everybody. That's what you call equal justice. And we know, whether it be Biden or whether it be Hillary or so many other people, there are crimes clearly committed that Americans can see on their face were committed with no legal action being taken to enforce the law against those crimes. And so it's essential that all of us do our part to make sure that the violators of the law, whoever they may be, are going to be held accountable for those violations.
Governor Abbott, it's Buck. Thanks for being here with us. Yesterday, the executive order that Biden signed, people see this, a lot of them, as too little too late, but actually we played a clip of you, a soundbite of you earlier in the show where you said that Biden's executive order, for those who really know what's going on at the border, is going to make illegal immigration worse. Please explain how that works out.
I'll do it, and in doing so, I want to correct this phrase because some people do say it's too little too late. That's assuming that it's achieving something by categorizing it as too little. This not only accomplishes nothing, this actually sets us back. The reason for it, think about what the order says. What the order says is that the first 2,500 people who cross the border a day, you get a free ride into the United States. You know, no questions asked. No one's going to stop you. And the only thing that's going to happen after that first 2,500 is that Joe Biden is going to stop allowing people to be granted asylum, but still no enforcement. In the entire order, there's exactly zero said or done to enforce the immigration laws of the United States or to deny illegal entry into the United States. Instead, where they're saying, listen, we want to prosecute more asylum claims. Well, what's that going to do? That's going to attract even more people to rush toward our border. It will accelerate the process that the cartels are using to get people across the border illegally. And once the 2,500 per person across the border per day is matched, that's not going to stop the cartels from coming across the border. In fact, you saw this last night at midnight Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, is when the law went into effect. And there was no stopping people coming across the border. The Biden administration has no apparatus, no tool, no strategy, no game plan to stop people from coming across the border illegally. Then let me add one last thing, and that is Joe Biden doesn't need to sign an executive order. There are laws passed by the United States Congress already on the books before Joe Biden took office that, one, require the president to deny illegal entry, two, to detain anybody who does enter illegally, and three, to build border barriers. He's doing none of that. And to prove one of these, you will recall, and our fellow Americans will recall, under Trump, under Obama, under Bush, there were all of these detention facilities in Texas as well as in other states where they were detaining these people who'd come across the border. They were doing so because they are required by that law I was talking about to detain them. Joe Biden has abandoned that. And this is one of those areas where we need Republicans stepping up, and Texas is stepping up to try to enforce this law and to hold Biden accountable for not enforcing this law because he's simply ignoring the laws of the United States of America by not detaining these people who do cross the border illegally.
We're talking to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. I want to give you immense credit here for this. You started to send illegal immigrants crossing into Texas all over the country. And I remember initially people said, oh, what's this going to do? And then you've seen New York, Chicago, Denver, Washington, D.C., all of these sanctuary cities start to crumble. Over 10 million illegals. So two-part question here for you. Do you believe when you see the Lake and Riley-like stories that Joe Biden has blood on his hands, to say nothing of what might happen with, we know, terrorists crossing our border illegally, and the FBI director saying he thinks we could have a attack like they had in Russia recently? Second part of this, I want to give people some optimism. If Trump wins and he comes back into office in January, how quickly do you think you could get the Texas border shut down if you simply had the new and right American president enforcing the laws on the books to be able to shut down the southern border?
Well, shut down illegal immigration, right?
Yeah.
So first, with regard to Lake and Riley, that's what you call murder by government policy. It's the policy of the Biden administration to allow people to cross the border illegally, including people who are known criminals, including people who were arrested and let back out on the street. And so there's only one reason why that murderer was walking free in a way that harmed and killed Lake and Riley, and that's because of government policy. And hence, we have to change the government policy. So listen, I know for a fact that, first of all, Trump is going to win, and a major reason why he's going to win is because Americans are so angry about Joe Biden's open border policies. And Trump will process that and make sure that he is responding to his American constituents by making sure he secures the border. And I know that he is prepared to take action on day one, signing executive orders that will fully enforce the laws of the United States of America, and it will lead to more than what he accomplished. So remember what he accomplished, because we've been under Biden for so long, people forget that under Donald Trump, we had the lowest illegal border crossings in 4 decades. But that's not enough for President Trump this next go around. He's going to completely shut it down and send back people who come across the border illegally. And it's going to change the game, and it will truly happen in that first week in office. And he will fully discharge the Border Patrol and ICE to do their job, which is not to process paperwork, but to deny illegal entry.
Governor Abbott, for people who worry that it's too late, that there have been too many illegals coming into the country, the political will won't be there, the processing, the bureaucracy necessary to address this problem, what do you say to them? Because I think there are a lot of those listening who feel like this problem's gotten so out of hand. Is it even possible to turn it around?
So it for one, it has gotten out of hand, and it makes more daunting the process of turning it around. But there's no one in the world with a greater will to get that done than President Trump, and he will do it far more better than anybody else would be able to do that, and unravel the harm and damage caused by Joe Biden, and restore both normalcy but also the rule of law in the United States of America, and make it very clear, you try to cross our border illegally, you're going to be sent back to where you came from, or otherwise be put in prison for a very long time.
Mexico governor has just elected a new leftist leader. I think she won by 30 points, but there is talk that she is going to be potentially difficult to deal with on border-related issues. I don't know. I believe her name is Claudia Sheinbaum, and I might be mispronouncing the last name. Do you have any relationship at all with her on a prior basis? Do you think that she is likely to help or hinder border security issues now that she's come into power in Mexico?
So I don't have any working relationship with her, never met her before or anything like that. I think you probably know she's a protege of AMLO, the current
That's
president
right.
of Mexico, who has been totally destructive on the border policy under Joe Biden. Remember this, when Donald Trump was president, AMLO gave in to Trump's demands, the Remain in Mexico policy and things like that. And the reason for it is very simple, and that is the United States of America holds all the cards as it concerns Mexico. And Donald Trump is not afraid to use those cards. Joe Biden refuses to use those cards. But it doesn't matter if it's Sheinbaum, if it's AMLO, or whoever the president of Mexico is going to be. Donald Trump will use every lever that the United States has, which is all the levers, to make sure that we are not going to be the dumping ground for people who are trying to come here illegally from across the entire globe.
Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, by the way, welcome to the SEC for your Longhorns. I know there's a big celebration coming up soon. You're not only a Vanderbilt Law grad, I know you're a big Texas Longhorn fan. Are you excited for that?
Well, of course we are. We enjoyed our foray into the SEC last year when we went to Alabama and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And so we are, hopefully ready with another good team this year. We will be hosting Georgia in Austin, Texas, which will be one of the big games. And, of course, for Texas as a state, but also I think for the entire country, there's going to be a reunification of a game people love to watch, and that's the game between Texas and Texas A&M.
No doubt. And, by the way, we appreciate your hospitality. You had Buck and I to the governor's mansion when we had Buck down, not this past year in Tuscaloosa, but when you guys hosted Bama in Austin. It was a super awesome event you had there.
Or you're welcome back for the Georgia game this year.
I'm going to come back. You just got to tell me who I root for, Governor. That's the only rule. So you let me know.
If you're not wearing burnt orange, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Gotcha.
Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. We appreciate the time, Governor.
You guys take care.
The terror attacks in Israel on October 7th only further increased the anti-Semitism that's been on the rise. We see it here in the U.S., across the world, including in Israel. In fact, I think I can say this. We're planning a trip to Israel to be able to go see these terror sites ourselves and be able to do some radio programs from Israel, which I think you guys would certainly benefit from, and I know that we would benefit from them on the show. And that's partly because of our new partnership with the International Fellowships of Christians and Jews, the IFCJ. It's an organization going the distance to show Israelis they're not alone, that people halfway across the world care about them and their safety. You can join us and stand with the IFCJ to raise your voice and show your support. Your pledge is to stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters, to never be silent, and to show the Jewish people they're not alone. This month of June, we're asking you to sign a pledge which will be delivered to the President of Israel to show Christians and Jews in America are supporting them in their time of need. To sign the pledge, join us and go to supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.